everybody. Pastor Andy, welcome back to Making It Simple. Great to be with you again, and glad to be back in our full schedule of daily teaching right here at Making It Simple. We are in a study that I'm calling The Beauty of Simple. What does it mean? Why does it matter? Yesterday I touched on trust. I want to take that back just for a minute. That word, we find that word in the definition of the word faith. The word faith means unflagging trust. I said yesterday, we don't follow who we don't trust. And Jesus said, follow me. But we don't trust who we don't know. One of the things that really overwhelms my heart when I begin to study and I began to prepare and think about these lessons and in this entire work, this book that I wrote, what was it about? Well, again, I've been doing this for a long time. When I first started, I was drawn more to what others were saying and doing and kind of being repetitive and thinking of what needed to be spoken on. But as I have matured, as I have grown in my faith, as I have grown in my trust and understanding of Christ, I realize so much is missed. Because we have found through the eyes of others and many, the emphasis is so much more on the complicated nature of theology and all these different things that it really turns a lot of people away because they don't get to see the beauty of Christ. A lot of critics today, they look at and they criticize the teaching styles of different ones. You have those that they claim don't give enough or don't convict enough or whatever. Then you have others on the other end of that spectrum. That's all they do is scream at everybody and point their fingers and damn everybody to hell and everybody's awful and then others are teaching, that God hates you. We see such a variation of all these different things. Again, they get tied under the complicated nature of theological arguments and all these other things. But if you listen, and I don't encourage you to, but if you listen to any of that stuff, the one major red flag, the one major flashing light in all of it that you find missing is Jesus. All the condemnation, all the whatever, it doesn't matter what's offered. If that never points you to a solution, then what good does any of that do? It's like getting a diagnosis from a doctor and they tell you how awful this is, whatever it is that they claim that you have, but they never offer a solution. And I personally have experienced that for over 40 years with my mother. She's been told she's got all these different problems, yet here we are 40 some odd years later, since I was just a little boy, probably 8, 9, 10 years old. And here I am in my mid-50s. And there's still never been an answer. There's still never been a conclusion as to what that is. Well, it's the same problem in the matters of faith and religion and whatever banner you want to put it under. All the finger pointing and all the judging and all the whatever, all the different things that are out there. The complicated stuff, the big words and the theories and all these different things that are offered, they never offer a solution. You see, friends, when we come to a point that we understand the massive, unimaginable difference between religion and relationship, that is where we find the person of Christ. You see, keeping it real is what this lesson is about. It's much more than just a phrase. It's much more certainly than a marketing idea, something like that. When we follow and study the person of Jesus, we find something completely different. You see, it was the religious leaders that he had the biggest problem with. And they had the biggest problem with him because he was dealing with real people, with real problems. We can go through a multitude of examples that are just, they touch your heart because you realize, wait a minute, that could be me. That could be me. I mean, regardless of what he was dealing with, regardless of the person that he was dealing with, whether it was a physical matter, a spiritual matter, corruption, danger, hate, it didn't make any difference. He met them where they were. He dealt with the problem because his answers were rooted in reality. Because the reality was, if you want the answer, and I'm the answer, that's what he was making abundantly clear. I'm the answer. Then you have to follow me. And that'll get you where you need to go. But in order to follow me, you have to trust me. But in order to trust me, you got to get to know me. Everything that gets in the way of that, and it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a personal hang-up, whether it's a religious argument, a denominational boundary, or just utter nonsense, whatever gets in the way of that is not of God. And I believe that, and I'll stand on that statement. It is not of God. I just saw just a snippet, a clip, if you will, just a minute ago, of a guy, I think he's up in New Jersey, and he is a notorious screamer and railer. And every time you see this guy, his countenance, his facial expression is a person of great anger and hate. I have never heard a kind word come out of this man's mouth. Never. And this is while he's standing in the pulpit. All he does is criticize everybody. Because according to him, everybody in the world is wrong except him. Well, there's a problem with that already because that's pride and arrogance. That has nothing to do with God. He is quick to judge everybody's faith. He's quick to judge everybody's baptism. He's quick to judge everybody's whatever because everybody's wrong. But in the midst of that, the one thing that you don't hear about Jesus. Jesus dealt with things head on. The problem that the Pharisees had with him, the religious leaders of that time had with him was, why are you talking to those people? And he said, because they're the people that I came to see. He never gave fluff. He never danced around the truth. The woman at the well, he said, go and get your husband and come back and let's talk. And she said, I don't have a husband. He said, you are right. You are right. You are right. But indeed, you've had 5, and the one you're with now is not your husband. She was amazed that he knew this about her, completely blown away, because that was embarrassing. It was a stigma in her life that many probably looked at her in a very wrong way, in a very critical way. But what Jesus saw was her heart. What Jesus saw was what she was actually looking for was not only acceptance and love, but she was looking for joy and peace and all the other things that each and every one of us search for. But as many of us have learned, she was looking in the wrong place. She was going about it the wrong way. This relationship didn't work. Maybe the next one will. That one didn't work. Maybe the next one will. How many of us have fallen into that trap? I have. Now, I don't say that proudly, but in my younger days, that was a big problem in my life. What he said to her is what he's saying to you. I get it. It's easy to try to find the answers in the wrong place because that's where the world leads us to. Do this, if that don't work, do this, if that don't work. And Jesus is saying, if you want to find the answer, you can't keep drinking from the same well. If you want to find the answer, you can't keep going down the wrong road because it will never get you to your destination. So in the midst of that, he didn't scream at her. He didn't call her a loose woman. He didn't say she was damned and doomed because she had had more than one husband. No. He set her free. He changed her life. And as a result of that, it tells us she went into Samaria, and everyone who heard this woman speak came to know Jesus. She changed people's lives because she had a personal encounter with Christ. And she had nothing to do, nothing about religion set her free. It was that personal encounter with Jesus. So I want to encourage you today, as we continue to keep it real, I want you to think about this. Have you done that? Have you really had that personal moment with Jesus where you have spoken from your heart? Lord, I have failed. I have made some I've really boogered it up over the years. Will you let him talk to you? Will you let him deal with you? Will you go and read the life and the ministry of Christ and see what I'm trying to show you? Not because I'm right. This has got nothing to do with me. Go and look, and you will see, wait a minute, he really did address people right where they were. He really did address people right in the midst of their problems. He didn't say, go and get everything right and then come talk to me. He didn't say, kneel this many times or wear this kind of hat or no. He said, follow me. Follow, watch, learn, understand. Because when you come to that point, then you begin to see something different. And then it doesn't look complicated anymore. Then it's really a revelation of, why in the world didn't I do this sooner? And actually, you may get a little angry at those who didn't tell you that you could. God bless you, friends. I hope you have a great day. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow, right back here at Making It Simple.